Alright, first off, want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to our brothers in the highways and byways pushing this word in all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom. This is Brother Arawam from the James Remika camp, coming to another quick listen. And today's lessons we're gonna go into David's mindset. And it's gonna be just a quick I'd say observation or highlight of David mindset when it came on to Goliath. And it's a mindset that we should all have, despite the troubles that we go through, despite us falling from time to time, despite whatever situation we're in. We should, this mindset is a good mindset that we would need to adopt. All right, so let me just start. This is 1 Samuel 17, and I'll start at verse 23. It says, let me start at verse 22. It says, and David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage and ran into the army and came and saluted his brethren. And as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them. So pretty much he wonder if I can find what he actually said. Just a quick second. Alright, this is verse 8 says, and he stood and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, this is what Goliath said, why are ye come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and ye servants of Saul? Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. If ye be able to fight with me and to kill me, then will we be your servants. But if I prevail against him and kill him, then shall ye be our servants and serve us. All right, so pretty much that's what Goliath said, and he pretty much said it again when David was actually there. All right, where was I? Verse 20. Right. So back to verse 20. 1 Samuel 17 verse 24 says, and all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were sore afraid. And the men of Israel said, have ye seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up. And it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich him with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel. So pretty much, they were like, hey, this is a great man. It describes Goliath of being, having how many weights of brass, the weight of his armor and all of that. He was pretty much a strong and mighty warrior of the Philistine. He was big, and he was very strong, right? And this was David's mindset. And David spake to the men that stood by him, saying, what shall be done to the man that killeth this Philistine, and taketh away the reproach from Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine, that he should defy the armies of the living power? And that is it. The army of Israel ultimately is representing who? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So it's like, look, we have the God of Israel on our side. We have Yahweh on our side. So who is this man to come and defy us? Who is this guy to come up against us? He's no one. He said what, this uncircumcised Philistine, pretty much he's unclean. Who is this guy? And this is why I'm saying, with us, fight us of the hopeful elect, when we fight, what and who shall defy us? While we are fighting through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we are of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So what or who can defy us? Does it mean that we're not going to be humble? Does it mean that we're not going to fall? No, but at the end of the day, we're fighting through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So despite whatever the situation is, we will definitely prevail, right? And the people answered answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be to the man that killeth him. Right? And pretty much, he is his brother scolded him. He says, and Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spake unto the men, and Eliab's anger was kindled against David, and he said, why camest thou down hither, and with whom hast thou left those few sheep in the wilderness? So he was like, hey, hey, you're a shepherd, why are you here? I know thy pride and the naughtiness of thy heart, for thou art come down that thou mightest see battle. So it was like, you're just coming here because you want to be a part of the fight. You want to watch the fight. You want to be. This is why you're here. When really, reading up, it was his father who sent him to give them food. But upon coming there, that he didn't come to fight. But upon coming there, he realized that, look, this Philistine is really, out of order. This guy, is out of place. And he was looked down upon, pretty much, and being scolded. There are a lot of people, when you hear them talk, you realize that, as the scripture said, he that seeketh righteousness maketh himself a prey. Some you will be speaking to somebody and they get, give you the side eye, or look down upon you because you don't eat pork, or because you don't commit adultery, or even if you're not discussing the doctrine per se, like with literal scriptures, once we reason within the scriptures, and we talk within the scriptures, and we may have a few conversations here or there, there you can see that a lot of people will have that, that look of disgust or annoyance, when it comes down to the things that we say. And a lot of people would actually, may look down upon this, because, for the majority of brothers that I know, we're always in some form of either difficulty, or, we're not really glorified. Things happen, we lose a lot in this world. So people might just look at it, or we just going through about people and look at us as simple as as nothing, or no one, but we go through nonetheless. And we're in a better place because guess what? We know of the things that are to come, and because we know of the things to come, we operate differently, and we walk in the scriptures in the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So we most times, even if we say that we're going to do something, or we're going through, people like, why would you think that, or why would you approach it that way, especially if it's a case that you're taking a step in regards to integrity. People will be like, why don't you just do this instead, when your solution is probably to either it's usually unlawful, anything to get the gain. They'll be like, why are you going to take the harder way out when you can easily do this or easily do that, and they will, give you that look when it's like, you're acting as if we're holier than thou, or all of that, but they don't understand that who we fear is Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Therefore, we stay within the lines, right? Going down to verse 29, and David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? So he's asking, hey, what did I do? Isn't there a cause? Right? And he turned from him toward another, and spake after the same manner, and the people answered him again after the former manner. Right? Let me just jump around a bit. All right, so they took him to Saul. So verse 32, and David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight this Philistine. All right. And Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him, for thou art but a youth, and he a man of war from his youth. And there's a lot of things, that brothers go through, and brothers will prevail against and prevail over through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But in the initial stages, whether it be family or acquaintances, or people that in general, will tell you that, hey, what, you can't do that, or doing that is stupid, or that's not the way to go, you won't be able to do this, you won't be able to do that, whether it's a thing of changing jobs, maybe starting a business, or whatever we may pursue, as we're going through in Babylon, and we're trying to maintain, sometimes we see an opportunity to to a sense, make ourselves a bit better, despite this place going down, but not holding on to it, making ourselves better and moving forward. But in the initial stages, you will have a lot of people who naysay and do a lot of things. And it's even with from the aspect of spirituality, and being in the truth, a lot of people will say, hey, we're wasting our time, it makes no sense. And they try to gainsay and try to discourage us from actually walking within the spirit. And it's like, it won't make any sense. That's what they say, or it doesn't look plausible, or there's no way to go that route. Right? Verse 34, and David said unto Saul, thy servant kept his father's sheep, and there came a lion and a bear, and took a lamb out of the flock. And I went out after him, and smote him, and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he rose against me, I caught him by the beard, and smote him, and slew him. So he's talking about previous experiences, and that's one of the reasons why we're bold within the spirit, and even as we go through our day to day while being amongst the unbelievers, our spirit is different, because the hell that we go through within this truth, and these spiritual battles that we go through, and the frustration and the constant fighting and overcoming and getting stronger within the spirit, we know that, hey, we can overcome regardless of what the situation is, because we can overcome through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So David is actually saying that, look, this I'm helping, I'm tending to the flock, and these are the things that I deal with. These wild animals which, would kill regularly, lions and bears. It's no small feat to say that you're gonna kill a lion or a bear, especially in those back then in those times, right? Verse 36, it says, thy servant slew both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he had defied the armies of the living God. So once again, we're representing Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So who or what can defy us? We're strong within the spirit. And this is the mindset that we need to have, right? David said, moreover, Yahweh had delivered me. So you see, he made sure that he put the praise unto Yahweh, right? He says, Yahweh had delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear. He will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and Yahweh be with thee. And that is the thing. He's like, look, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to prevail through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He's pretty much, let him know that, look, don't let no man heart fail them. And I'm saying the same thing to to myself first and foremost, and to all of us of the hopeful elect. Hey, there are certain things that we shouldn't let get to us, or let our heart fail us, or despite the frustration or whatever, to lose hope and don't want to fight. We can conquer, or we will conquer through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And we have to be confident in that. It's not like we might conquer, or maybe it will work out. No, we have to speak it, speak our request, or have our mind that, look, we will prevail through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? Now I'm gonna he gave him some armor, and David was like, look, I'm not used to using this. And that's another thing as well, when we're fighting these spiritual fights, and as we're going through our day to day within these battles, we have to work according to our strengths. Not every time you can you can handle a situation like how another brother do it, or the same way that a brother does it. It may be a case where you have to play upon your strengths mainly, and go through. Yes, we learn from each other and everything, but at the same time, we have to know, every man has to know his own soul, and give what is right unto it, and operate within our strengths, while we balance our weaknesses. Not every brother is the same, right? So just to make this short, I'm jumping around a bit, right? Right. So verse 40, and he took his staff in his hand, and chose him 5 smooth stones out of the brook, and put them in the shepherd's bag which he had, even in a scrip, and his sling was in his hand, and he drew near to the Philistine. And that is the thing. David used what he was used to. He used what he knew how to operate, and what he could handle. And it pretty much, that's the same thing. The things that, hey, a lot of people will look on certain challenges that we go through, and they're saying that, oh, you need this, you need that. No, and we work with what we have, and the Lord bless us to the point where it's like people will hear about some situations that we've overcome, and they're like, you know, how did you make it out with just that, or how did you do that? Didn't you just have this, or didn't you just have that? And we know that, look, through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we were able to use the little that we have, and make, and make it work through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and overcome through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Because it's not of man that will it, but but of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, right? Verse, what's this? 43. And the Philistine came on and drew near unto David, and the man that bare their shield, and the man that bare the shield went before him. And when the Philistine looked about and saw David, he disdained him, for he was but a youth and ruddy and of fair countenance. And that's the thing, a lot of people will look on us as well and underestimate us, and we still overcome through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You just have to have that have that mindset that David had, that look, we can prevail, or we will prevail through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, regardless of what the situation is. Especially in these last days, as we draw closer and closer to the end. That's why Yahushua said, what? He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. We have to have that confidence, that faith in Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? And the Philistine said unto David, am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. And the Philistine said unto David, come to me, and I will give thy flesh unto the fowls of the air, unto the beasts of the field. Then David said to the Philistine, thou comest to me with a sword, and with a spear, and with a shield. But I come to thee in the name of Yahweh, Lord of hosts, and the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. This day will Yahweh deliver thee into mine hand, and I will smite thee, and take thine head from thee, and I will give the carcasses to the host of the Philistine this day, unto the fowls of the air, and the wild beasts of the earth, and all the earth, that all the earth may know that there is a God in Israel. So he ensured that he did it all to what? The praise of Yahweh, And all this assembly shall know that Yahweh saveth not with sword and spear, for the battle is Yahweh's, and he will give it into our hands. And that's how we should feel, regardless of what battle we have, whether spiritual or physical. Well, all things are spiritual, but as we go through our daily fights and our daily our daily walk, we should have this in mind, that look, the battle is of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and he will give it in our hands once we do all things unto the praise, honor, and glory of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and we have the mindset to conquer all things through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. As a matter of fact, let me just look let me just read it. I was going to stop there, but let me just give the closure of it, all right? And it came to pass, when the Philistine arose and came near David, and drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran toward the enemy to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag, and took thence a stone, and slang it, and smote the Philistine in his forehead, and the stone sunk into his forehead, and he fell upon the face of the earth. So David prevailed over the Philistine with a sling and with a stone, and smote the Philistine and slew him, but there was no sword in the hand of David. Therefore David ran, stood upon the Philistine, and took his sword, and drew it out of the sheath thereof, and slew him, and cut off his head therewith. And when the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they fled. And that is it. So this is the mindset that David had, conquering this big feat, conquering this old champion and this giant. It's the same thing, that mindset that we should have as we make our walk in this truth, while we operate and go about with amongst the unbelievers. Also while we're fighting with with the Akim to make that walk onto salvation. So with that, hope this was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kodash. Love, honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom to the brothers in the highways and byways, pushing toward all sincerity and truth. The sisters, the believers, the helps, the hopeful elect. Shalom.